Hello, all you crazy people out there in YouTube land. How y'all doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. It's Leo here, your old hillbilly friend. Out and about roaming around today. I was doing a couple videos, doing two today. And the first one was, scouting for some really cool winter camping sites, just bring people along, the adventure seekers out there, that sort of thing. And another one doing a really cool historic location that I'm just about ready to show you guys. I left the house, I drive up here like 15 miles from the house, get up here, get ready to start my video, and the camera just beeps at me. I left the memory card at the house sitting on my desk. Yeah, had to go all the way back home and get the memory card, come back up, go do my other video, get all that stuff done, and then stop here back in Matewan on my way back home. Now this is Matewan, West Virginia, the site of the Hatfield McCoy Feud. The Matewan Massacre was right over there at the corner of that brick building. A lot of history in this little town here. Now I've shown y'all, I've shown you some of the stories over there, some of the historic stuff over there, and we've made a lot of videos, here in Matewan. One thing I didn't show you was this, and there's some more legends and locations, okay? Right on the other side of this flood wall right here. Now the town of Matewan, I read somewhere once that the town of Matewan was known as the most flooded town in America. It starts right there. You can see where the flood wall right there, just to the right of this brick building here. That's City Hall. And it ends right down here. That's where the depot is, the old depot replica of the old train station that used to be here in town. There's a replica on the other end. It's right there. You can almost throw a rock from one end of town to the other end, almost. But the town is just dripping with history. And if you've seen our videos, you know what I'm talking about. The Hatfield McCoy Feud, the mine wars. I could go on. I could literally go on here. But what I wanted to show you guys is actually back here, behind the flood wall. But, just imagine that water down there. Imagine that being all the way up here. Okay? Now, if you'll notice, there's markers on the steps here. Look at this. Uh, 1857 flood. Elevation 6960. 1963 flood. Elevation 63.6.7. Okay, 6 and then 0.7, 7 inches higher. The 1984 flood, I remember this one. Elevation 6970 or 690.0. I'll get it right in a second. 97.0. If I can speak, if I can, words today, we'll do this. But sorry, a little tongue tied every now and then. But like I said, there's several historic things here, but these flood markers, you think that's something, right? Look at the river and look how high these are, right? Now you're probably thinking, man, that's a pretty bad flood, ain't you? Right? You can see that's, good Lord, that's what, 60, 70 feet, 80 feet, whatever it is. That's a long ways down. Look over here. This, up the stairs and about 7 foot up the wall, is the 1977 marker. The 77 flood was up here. And you can see how, look here, you can see the flood level way up here on the wall, and look where that level's out. If you notice, that level right there is probably higher than the heat pump on this church right here. So you can see why the town got devastated, you know, so many times. But the Corps of Engineers, they built this great big flood wall back in the 90s. And there's all kinds of, they have all sorts of decorative stuff all down through here about the history of, you know, Matewan, the historic district of Matewan here. May 19th, 1920, Battle of Matewan. There's more stuff about Hatfields and McCoys and trains and coal and some of the old buildings. You can see, you know, reliefs in the wall itself where they recreated some of the old buildings in town here. But what I wanted to really show you is actually over here, over this way. Now, y'all, if y'all been watching our channel, you know a little bit about the Hatfields and McCoys. If you've been watching our channel for more than one day, you probably know quite a bit about the Hatfield McCoy feud. If you've been watching our channel for a little while, you probably know quite a bit. This right here is something that I can almost guarantee you none of you know. There's only a handful of people that actually know this. You see this sandbar right here out in the middle of the river, on that side and on this side? You see this? Now that may not look it. It may look, well, it is totally natural. I started to say it may look totally natural, but you know, it is totally natural. That's what it looks like. Believe it or not, that's still a historic site. You are looking at a real Hatfield McCoy historic site right there. You see, this is back in the day. You see that big pretty bridge right there? Back in the day, there was no big pretty bridge. The Hatfields and McCoys and everyone else here, this is how you cross the river, right here. You came down to the sandbar and you crossed the river. Hatfields, McCoys, and everyone else who lived here too. You know, they crossed the river. This is where you go. This is where you get, you know, that's how you get to the side. The other places are deep or swift or, you know, whatever the case may be. But right here is where they would actually cross the river at. And those of you who are familiar with feud may remember the McCoy boys who were killed at the pawpaw tree site in retaliation for them killing Ellison when they stabbed him at the hog trial cabin. This is where they crossed the river with the boys. The pawpaw tree site is right down here, right around this little bend. Right there is where they killed them at. This right here is where they crossed the river with the boys when they murdered them, when they killed them. This is where they crossed the river, right here. Now, a lot of people don't know this. You know, there's a handful around here. I've met a handful of people who know this. Most of them don't. Most of them don't know anything about this. That this is even here. You know, they just see it and, you know, yeah, it's a bunch of rocks. It's not just a bunch of rocks. This is literally, it's a historic site. It's a real location. Imagine that. And as pretty as it is, you know, you can see the water coming down and, you know, the shallows right there, and it's just really pretty out here today. But the wall, like I said, there's all sorts of these reliefs. Now this one is coal miners, and you can see coal miners underground right there digging right there, and a mine cart right here, a miner. That's a miner. See how it has the teeth, has the spinning blade on the end. and the guy's operating it from a laid back position. That's pretty much how you operate machinery in coal mines. If you're moving along and you stick your head up, the top of that mine's going to take the top of your head off. So that's why they lay back like that. But there's all sorts of, like I said, different reliefs that are carved right into the back of the flood wall. Now, how pretty is that? Uh-oh. I see a few billion kissing bugs. Them things will eat you up. You go over and mess with them, won't you? They're not friendly. They bite. All over the place, ain't they? A whole bunch of them. Here is, as you can see, a great big coal truck. It says 1923 above it. And look how the tires are done. How cool is that? Whoever did this, somebody knew what they were really doing, didn't they? Somebody's really good at this stuff. Pretty little place though, isn't it? You can tell there's some fishermen been hanging out down there doing some fishing too. And you can see right here where a little creek comes in. And those are always good where a creek comes into the river. It churns up stuff and really good fishing spots. You know me, I'm all about the outdoor fun stuff, right? Let's see what else we got. Now those, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be. Could be a, who knows, a relief of a map. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? But anyway, you can go down right here, go back under the old bridge and look around and fish, and you know, people walk up here a lot and jog and you know, that sort of thing. But check out these big gates. Look at that. Look at the size of that thing. Look at that. They say they're really easy to, oh, it is easy to move. Huh. Wow. All right, let's test this. Now, I've heard that you can move these gates with one finger. I mean, look at the size of that thing. That's, what, about 10 feet tall? I'm gonna say about 7 feet wide. Thick enough to hold back a river. And you can see how thick the, you ready? One finger. Wow. That is balanced. Wow, pinky even. That is really cool. You got to give the Corps credit, man. They know what they're doing, don't they? They are really good at this stuff. Anyway, I just thought I'd show y'all that. I was kind of curious about that, if you really could move it with one finger, but apparently you can. And look here how thick. Look how thick that wall is. Just using my arm for reference. Look at that, how thick that wall is. Made to hold back a river, a really big, really swollen river. And you see the inside, it has decorations too. It's decorated. Has these windows. They just look like great big windows and doors going up through there. How cool is that? That thing's like about 40 foot tall. Something like that. And like I said, there's Matewan again. That right there is the local union hall, coal miners. And from what I'm told, that was one of the very first union halls was on that site. Not that building, obviously, but one of the very first union halls was on that site. And the church over here, it's It's really old. It's over 100 years old, which everything in town is pretty much over 100 years old. City Hall would probably be the newest thing. The old bank, that yellow building right there, that used to be, it was a bank, Bank of Mingo, but they closed down, and they now have the Mine Wars Museum is in that building. So if y'all ever come up this way, you be sure to check out the Mine Wars Museum. You'll really like it. It's really cool. Man, look how big that thing is. Just imagine how much water that thing has to hold back. How much water that water weighs, I should say. It's an amazing accomplishment by anybody's standards, isn't it? You know, a wall big enough and strong enough to hold back a flooding river. And this is Matewan's little pavilion here. It's directly behind that city hall right there. Little pavilion's directly behind there. The town has, from time to time, they have several little events out here. They have the reenactment of the Matewan Massacre, things like that, you know. And you can also, these spots right here, you can rent these from the town and bring your, you know, your RV, your camper, whatever. And you can rent these sites and have power and water and all that stuff while you're checking out the sites. Or trail riders, they'll come down, you know, the Hatfield McCoy trails start right over there, right across the road is the Devil Ants trail system. So it's really good spot. Matewan's a good little spot if you come to ride. And if you bring, you know, RV or something, there's you a really good spot, you know, right in town. Wingo's restaurant is right there. Really good food, all kinds of historic sites and really cool things to see. And if you guys have watched our videos, you probably know a little bit about some of these sites already. So you come down here, watch our videos, and then come down. You'll know what you're looking for when you get here. But anyway, like I said, guys, I just thought I would take y'all back behind the flood wall and show you the old crossing, the old river crossing that the Hatfields and McCoys used back when they were feuding. Wild, huh? But anyway, all right, we are back at Old Red, and I guess we are just about done for the day. Got my 2 videos done and beat the sun by just a hair. So anyway, guys, appreciate y'all coming along. Hope you enjoyed the pretty scenery. Maybe learned something new. If not, well, I hope you enjoyed the walk. And anyway, this is Leo with the Hillbilly Files, and we will see you next time, guys. Leo out.